All right, welcome to You Gotta See This Movie. Today we are going to have a special guest, world-class magician, Greg Van Holzbeck.
Thanks for having me.
All right, welcome to You Gotta See This Movie, podcast of two guys who like to talk about movies as well as the deeper things that make these stories more than just a movie. And today, for the very first time, we have a special guest, Greg Van Holzbeck. I said that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Van
great.
Holzbeck, yeah.
Great. I practiced.
Yeah.
I did.
That's good.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So today we're talking about.
The Prestige. Prestige.
All right.
Movie about magic.
Yeah.
Hence the magician guest host
Yep.
today.
That's me.
That's him, man. The Prestige. It came out in 2006.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's such a long time ago.
It does, but no, it seems like
No,
this
it
movie
doesn't.
came out like
Yeah, it came out like
Yesterday.
yesterday. I know, right? Anything in the 2000s is just yesterday.
right.
Rival 19th century magicians engage in a bitter battle for trade secrets.
All right. All right. So, Greg, you being a magician,
Yeah.
How does this rank as far how does it hold up as far as magicians?
It holds up well.
Mhm.
I think it treats magic well, which is not common. I feel like most of the time, magicians in the media are normally a joke. We've got Joe Bluth in Arrested Development. We've got Burt Wonderstone.
Yep.
You know,
I love that movie.
usually we're a punchline,
Okay.
and we've probably earned that. But this movie does a good job of, it's sort of a gritty thing. It's sort of it takes the magic more seriously. There is one thing about it that is, I do wish was maybe a little different. Like the story's great, everything's great, but it does cross over into like real magic
It does
a little bit,
bit.
which is a little, I wish we could have a movie that was just about a magician that's an actual
Okay.
magician, but it is what it is.
Right. So, what you're saying is like it kind of make magic look cool.
Yeah.
Right. So kind of going into your background, what made you want to become a magician?
I got started in magic because I got a little magic kit.
Mm-hmm.
I stole it from my older brother and learned everything out of that, and then moved on to old books. That's where the good stuff is. And most people grow out of it.
So you stole the kit from your brother.
Stole it from my older brother, yeah.
Okay. So it was his.
Yeah.
You stole it.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great about it.
No,
you
how
know?
did he feel about it?
Oh, he did not like that. He doesn't like people touching his stuff
Of course.
anyway. But he got it randomly. He didn't ask for it or anything. He got it for Christmas.
Okay.
He put it away in a closet. A couple of months went by. I'm the younger brother. It's basically mine.
Of course. So you completely changed the trajectory of his life. Like
Yeah.
he could have been the magician.
Yeah, it could be him sitting here right now.
It could be
but
him sitting here right now. But,
I stole it.
all right. Well, that works out for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we all are.
That's cool. So how long have you been doing this?
22-ish years. I think I was like 9 when I got it.
Wow.
I actually tracked down the kit again. I had lost it, and then I got it. My wife Mandy got it for me for
Oh,
my
nice.
birthday because I told her that I had
that's
found
cool.
one that was unopened. It's still unopened.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
So I have it, and that kit is from 2002. So that's my best estimate of when I got into it. So I was 9.
Nice. All right. So when a movie like this comes out,
Mhm.
or maybe like, you said you saw some of these movies beforehand that were making more of you're the joke, the clown or whatever.
Yeah.
But what did this movie do for like up and coming magicians? Like, do you hear about this in your community? You hear about like, oh, like I got into this because of Prestige or.
I don't know that I've heard anybody getting into magic from it. I do think it's very much respected among magicians, and I know that they had a really good magic team on it. I know Derek Delgadio worked on it.
Oh.
He's a very big name to us. He's a celebrity to guys like me.
Okay.
So they treated the magic well. I do remember having sort of a weird relationship with this movie
Mm.
when it first came out. So I was 13. I was into magic. And I just remember there being conversations about it from maybe kids my age,
Mm.
online and things like that. That was my main connection to magic, was online, like forums and stuff. And I kept hearing from these guys that were like, yeah, so, I've been doing magic for this long, and my favorite movie is The Prestige, and my favorite song is It's a Kind of Magic by Queen. And it's just like magic was their whole personality. So I was always very conscious that I didn't want magic to be my entire personality.
Right.
So I sort of avoided this movie for a little bit
Okay.
and tried to not like it too much because I wanted to be a person.
Right.
But
That's funny.
my mom rented it, and me and my brother saw it, and yeah, it was a really good movie. But I still for years like kind of avoided it. Like
Oh,
I saw
I
it,
get
and then
it.
I still
I
sort
get
of,
it.
yeah.
Maybe that's funny you say that, because maybe that's my aversion to sitting down and watching The Chosen.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're a pastor, you should be watching The Chosen. I'm like,
right.
well, I could, or I could watch The Prestige.
Yeah.
Right.
But no, that makes sense. But what's your history behind this movie?
You know what? I think it was a recommend. You may have recommended it to me. I think because by the title, you're like, "What's it all about?" I don't know. The Prestige.
It doesn't sell.
No.
Yeah.
And once again, it's the whole movie title thing. It's like if the cover said 19th century dueling magicians, be like,
Right.
oh,
And there's
Well, that
nothing about
sounds
this cover
interesting.
that says that.
well, especially not that
Right.
one.
Or
Right.
even that poster. Like,
That one-
what is.
Why does that remind me of Bicentennial Man? Isn't there like a robot half face kind of thing too?
Ooh, I don't know, man. That's a deep dive. Maybe.
It's a deep cut.
I think it's just the half
Yeah.
face silhouette thing. I don't know. That's what I saw when I saw the poster. Oh, Bicentennial Man. No, Prestige.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, I think you recommended it.
Okay. I'll
Great
take
movie.
that.
Man,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, and it's definitely one of those movies where you watch it and you're confused halfway through it, but it's great, and then you just gotta
Right.
watch it again because it just gets better the more you watch it.
I think that's one of the really cool things about this movie is, because I was even watching it just recently, how it's very complex. You're dealing with 3 different timelines. There's nothing that will kind of show you what timeline you're in. You kind of have to like figure that out. However, I do feel like this movie's easy to follow. Like, it wasn't too difficult, but it should be. I feel like it really should be, but I don't know. I think that just goes with the.
Is that hats off to the editor pulling it together, or just a very
It could be.
detailed storyboarded script? Because
It could be.
It did work. I mean,
Right.
Because you can bounce around to different timelines, but then know
Mhm.
exactly when that was, even
Right.
though everything looked
Well,
similar.
I do think just Christopher Nolan, he's pretty hands-on with like everything. So he takes control of probably all fast. He's like a James Cameron, that he doesn't leave it up to just anybody to do. For me, my history is this is coming right off of Batman Begins. So I had seen other movies of his. I saw like Memento. I didn't know it was him, but I saw Memento. Insomnia. So these were all movies that I knew I saw that I liked, but I didn't like know it was, Christopher Nolan that did it. So once Batman came up, that was like, ooh, I want to see everything this guy does. And then this came out. So I was excited. I saw this. I'm pretty sure I saw this opening weekend when this came out, and yeah, blew me away. I loved the movie. And I don't think if it had that connection to, Christopher Nolan, or I didn't know it was Christopher Nolan, or, any of that stuff, I probably would not have seen this movie.
Oh, really?
Because yeah, it just doesn't, the name, the cover, it just doesn't.
I mean, it's got
do
some
it.
big names in it, though.
Yeah, but
yeah,
there's a lot of movies that have big names, and
but are like the
yeah. But yeah, so I love this movie. First time I saw it, I think I saw it a couple times in the theater.
Wow.
I want to say I saw it one time without my wife, and then I went back and saw it with her. I was like, "Oh, you got to see this movie."
Yeah.
So
She
But
named the podcast.
she did.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I named it,
because of
but
her.
because of
way
her.
back then. Oh,
Yeah. So
Cool.
But okay, so let's kind of jump into the film. What is it that really stuck out to you guys?
Well, the thing that for me that I thought was like, I mean, as far as the magic goes and
Mhm.
the gadgets and the tricks is super cool. But then when they threw that whole twist in with Tesla and his,
Yeah.
that was like, whoa, okay, this is getting really cool. This is getting like sci-fi-ish too, which again, it kind of comes out of the magic world
Mhm.
and there's like real magic, but I loved it. I loved that twist and the Tesla character and duplicating. I don't know. It's just a mind twisting. It
Right.
just, yeah, really makes you think.
I like that too. Like it really, you really learn how, I don't know, how tricks are done, I guess, because like the whole idea of Michael Caine's character Cutter,
Mhm.
he builds, what would you call him, like a fabricator, right? Is there another name?
Yeah, like a
Another name in
illusion
the
designer,
biz?
illusioneer, I think. some people
Illusioneer.
say. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so like if there was
illusion designers.
some big top guy that does this, what would he want to be called?
I think just illusion designer is
Okay.
pretty common. Yeah. John Gahn, I think his name is.
John Gahn?
I'm
That can't
almost
be his
positive it's his
name.
name. G-A-H. There's an H in there. I don't know. We should cut this. I should look him up. Can I look him up?
Look him up.
I'm
Look
looking
him up. Look
Yeah.
him up.
John Gahn. It's like, now you see me, now I'm gone.
He's gone.
G-A-U-G-H-A-N. Gahan?
Gahan?
Gahan.
Okay.
Like, it's like Khan. Like the
Ah.
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Gone.
Familiar? Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that guy,
Yeah.
he's the man.
Illusion-
So
He's been doing it forever.
You know, I always wonder, like, the guys that make magic, the tricks and stuff, they themselves have to have a sense. I mean, are they inventing it, or is it like the magician comes to you and says, I need you to make this? And
oh.
Yeah,
it's got to be like a collaboration, right?
Yeah. So illusions are definitely kind of their own thing.
Mhm.
An illusion in the magic world, you might have heard somebody say like, "Oh, I'm not a magician. I'm an illusionist," or whatever. That's a
okay.
specific genre.
Oh.
An illusionist is somebody that there's usually somebody in a box. There's usually some big contraption or something, and that's like a whole different principles than what, say, a sleight of hand person
wow.
does.
Okay.
So that's why there's sort of different categories. But yeah, like there's illusion designers that's their main thing, is just building and thinking of these designs for this stuff.
Okay.
Interesting.
But they have a background in magic.
You would say Cutter is an illusionist.
Yeah. Or an
Okay.
illusion designer.
Illusion designer.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because we don't see him perform,
No.
and I don't know that we get a sense that he ever did really. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he has a background. Maybe he
Yeah.
was.
Well, he
famous
knew
for
a lot
bit or
about it.
something.
He was the sage, right? He was always
Yeah, because he's
egging people
he's
on.
explaining the whole process of the
Right.
show. The
he starts in the beginning.
yeah, he's our
Yeah.
first act, the pledge,
The pledge.
and then the turn,
Yeah.
and then
The prestige.
Did you have like notebooks with those like listed out, like, you know, the pledge? This is my pledge. This is my turn.
I do not. Matter of fact, those terms are really not used in magic.
Really?
I've never heard somebody be like, "This is the pledge."
They just
Or anything
made it
like
up
that.
for the movie.
As far as I know, I've never heard anybody. In fact, if somebody said, "Hey, your prestige is really good," I would laugh at them.
Right.
So I would not say.
But your turn needs work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would
Yeah.
be like,
I really loved it at the turn.
Well, and also, I feel like that doesn't. It's a great storytelling thing, you know, this idea of the three parts. But I don't think that works with most magic tricks. It works for their example of
okay.
something disappearing and reappearing. But
Well,
You
what
know.
are the real terms then, or are there real terms?
the only real way that I hear tricks broken down is usually like there's the effect, which is the thing that the audience sees, which is like the ball floats. Then there's the method, which is the thing the audience doesn't see, which is
oh.
there's a string on the ball. And then there's the presentation, which is why do we care? What are the words that you're saying? What are the actions that you're doing that sort of paint this picture of this ball floating?
Is that like a secret you just revealed? Ball floating the string.
I feel like I can
It's a
reveal that.
string.
There's if you see something levitate, it's pretty much one
got
way
a
to do it.
string,
Right?
Oh man, you just gave it up.
I did just give something up.
Magician
but,
Mafia is gonna come after you.
They'll kick me out of the.
You know, it's crazy. Like when they see something like floating like way off the stage, out way far from. I mean, obviously there's strings like in the theater, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's.
Oh, that's right. You
there's
can't
ways.
say.
I can't say.
You can't. I
Can't
forgot. You
say.
can't say.
I also am not an illusionist, so I don't know what I'm talking about
Oh.
with big stage stuff. But
You're not an
um,
illusionist. I thought you did.
I don't
Okay.
do the big illusions.
Oh.
You know, I'm not floating.
Well, you define an illusion as what's a? How would you define a magician? Oh no, I guess
I think
illusion is just
magician is a
type.
broad term.
Mm.
An
Uh-oh.
illusionist is a magician. But an illusionist is a specific genre. It's almost like if I said, you know, I'm a rapper
Yeah.
compared to like I'm a musician.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
you know,
Oh,
That makes
okay.
sense.
All right.
like I'm good at this one thing.
What's the guy that does like card tricks? That's not illusionist, is it?
I think just magician is normally
That's more.
Or
Yeah.
pretty much
shyster?
accepted.
No,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Some if they're really into cards, some people will call them a card technician or a card mechanic.
Ooh,
Oh,
a card
okay.
mechanic, a technician.
But that's usually people that are into like gambling sleights and stuff.
Back in my prop making days, I made some long needles for David Blaine
I remember that.
to poke through his hand and his
Yeah.
arm.
Oh.
Yeah.
But is that magic? That's not really magic. That's just like
Torture?
he's like torturing himself in front of people.
Yeah, most of what David Blaine does is difficult to categorize
Yeah.
Yeah.
because, you know, he stabs his hand and you're like, okay, so what's the trick? I just stabbed my
I
hand.
just stabbed my hand.
You know,
And I didn't cry.
And I'm not crying.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it doesn't bleed. It's very
Yeah.
strange. Or he swallows a frog and regurgitates it and he's just like,
Oh
I
my
just
gosh,
am,
he did that?
yeah, and he's just like, I
That's
just am
disgusting.
able to do that.
Wow.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's crazy. He says he can like store it here. It stays there.
And it lives.
It lives because it's like, I think it's because it's an amphibian. So he chugs like a gallon of water. Then he swallows a frog and then he regurgitates water and the frog. This is a real thing that he just
the
does.
water offsets the stomach acid. So the frog's like
I guess.
And it can live in the water.
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
For a while.
He
right?
can kind of be in the water and breathe. And he can store it there for a while.
He must have practiced a lot and like, lost a few. Just
But then you got to ask
I'm
yourself,
sure he's
like,
just eating
Yeah.
frogs
Yeah.
sometimes.
but you got to ask yourself, like, but why though?
Yeah.
Why would he think of like, hey, I'm just going to sit around and you know what kind of trick I'm going to do? I'm going to put a frog in my stomach and see how long I can hold it.
Yeah.
Like, when did that pop into his mind?
Yeah, he does a lot of
Ridiculous.
traveling around trying to find people that have weird skills that there's one guy in the world that's able to chug a bunch of water and regurgitate it, and then he goes, all right, what do I do with that?
he's
I'm
like
gonna train with
he's
this
like
guy.
a sideshow like act, like the sword swallower and the
Yeah, he does stunts. I mean, he does magic tricks too, which is sort of, I almost always feel like he does magic as a way to, like, now you can categorize me. I'm a magician.
Mm.
I'll do the occasional card trick so that I can do the real thing I want to do, which is swallow a frog.
Swallow a frog.
Swallow frogs.
Hold it in my stomach.
Stab my arm. Yeah, he's a weird cat.
sideshow. That's sideshow.
Jeez. Well, one thing I love about this movie is it really, you see it in the beginning about the whole idea of living the act, right?
Yeah.
Are there even magicians that are even that dedicated today?
I can't say I've heard of anything like that. Like, somebody pretending to be crippled or
Right.
something like that. I mean, I have a twin, but
Of course.
yeah, that's how all the magic works. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, people get committed to certain things, like David Blaine.
Yeah.
Obviously he's very committed to doing weird things with his body.
Huh.
But
But Borden, like, it was so intensely his character and with the twin that he wouldn't even tell his wife. To the
Right.
point
Right.
where, ruined his marriage.
yeah,
Well,
and her life.
and her life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I
So
forgot.
that
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
that always gets me every time I watch this movie. I was like,
Just
who's the bad guy here?
he's the
Right.
bad guy.
Like,
I mean,
who's the
come on.
worst one?
You think it will, if it got to a point where she's just like freaking out and she's
Right.
upset and you can tell she's suicidal, you should have like taken her
You
off to
should
the
have
side
said
and said,
something.
I gotta tell you something.
Yeah.
Right.
and this will change everything.
Yeah.
So at that point, she might be like,
You won't think I'm having an affair. You won't think I'm
Yeah.
like crazy.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. This will change everything.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then his mind, he's thinking like, but if I tell her, she's really mad. She's gonna tell everybody, and
Yeah.
I'm done.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, I'm in too deep now. Like I can't.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can't. If I admit it
If
now,
you're 2 months
Yeah.
it could be
into the
even
relationship.
worse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I also feel like it's maybe like, well, if this marriage doesn't work out down the line or something, it's
Mhm.
almost like
That's what I mean.
It's like
Yeah,
signing a prenup, It's like,
Right.
I don't know, maybe this doesn't work out.
She writes all the
yeah, he
secrets.
could have just did a prenup, right? He
Yeah.
could have just done
or
that.
or you could just like say, hey, we're married. I'm a magician, but don't ever ask me how things are done.
Yeah,
That's simple.
yeah.
But so
or,
you
or he should have just made sure that whenever he was with her,
right.
it was him and not the other guy.
Right.
But they were always like switching it up.
Yeah. But you could just there's a lot of simple ways we could define this.
But that,
they
this is what
blew
makes
it.
This is what makes a movie.
It was what makes the
Yeah.
movie, right?
He made some bad decisions.
The whole idea of the dueling magicians, what makes this movie really good too is that it wasn't just like some competitors. Like they were it was personal.
Mm.
It was very personal
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yeah, because he blames him for that knot that he didn't know he did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the whole so when you guys saw this movie, did you guys pick up right away that they were twins, or were you guys just kind of blown away like, oh shoot, he's a twin?
I didn't see it at all.
No, because I didn't see it, and then when I realized there was a twin,
Mhm.
I thought okay, and then there was a scene where where Borden visited Tesla, or near his
He went to his like show.
yeah, right. So I
Mhm.
assumed first watch or second watch. I've seen this like 4 or 5 times. I assumed that Borden went to Tesla and made a copy of himself.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
It wasn't a
That's
twin; it was a
interesting.
copy.
Yeah.
And I was kind of going
Oh.
with that for a while, and then it was later on kind of, oh no, it wasn't a copy. It was
It's
yeah.
his brother.
his brother.
Living the act.
Yeah.
The crazy thing too is that once you rewatch this, because I was the same way. I was blown away, didn't see it coming, even though, looking back and you're seeing Fallon, which is like the other Borden.
Yeah.
It
It looks super obvious.
It's so obvious,
It's
right?
like, that's obviously Christian Bale.
Yeah, now it's obvious,
Yeah.
but the first time I just thought he was some weird dude.
Yeah,
and
totally.
he never talked or some mute. I don't know, but they also give away this movie in the very beginning of the movie. Like it's kind of telling you just with the birds and that one sacrifices while the other one lives. It's giving you the answer to the movie in the very beginning.
But
Yeah.
you don't.
But
know
you
it.
don't
You
see
don't
it.
know it. You
Yeah.
don't see it. Well,
So-
even they talk about Cutter says, well, obviously Borden's got a twin. How does he do it? Well, he's got
Oh,
a
yeah, he's got-
double.
he's got
There's a double,
yeah.
right?
So
It's
why-
that simple.
So why does the
Right.
audience not go, oh yeah, it's just a double? But we don't.
We don't.
We think it's something more amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cool. This is one of those movies where it's like, man, I wish I can go back and watch this again for the first time.
Yeah.
Like it's a good whenever you recommend this to somebody, you're in for a treat. You're gonna like this movie, whether or not maybe you never see it again or whatever. But it's still it's a good first time watch.
Mhm.
Let's talk about Angier, Hugh Jackman's character, who
Did anybody have a problem with him not having an accent?
Well-
Just seemed to have a character a little bit, didn't it? Because they were in London. They were in London. They were in London.
they were in London.
He's Australian.
He's Australian in real life.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of odd.
He did have an accent when he's in character, and I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember if he's trying to be American as the Great Danton.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he
Or-
was very, 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 very
Right.
American in his voice. I mean, it didn't really ruin the movie or anything. I just thought it was odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He so his, like I said, it's like who's the good guy here? Because he gets very, what's the word? Like
Vengeful.
vengeful. There's another word I'm looking for.
Tenacious, aggressive.
Aggressive, maybe. No,
No,
the
that's
thing.
not
We'll
the
just go
word.
with vengeful.
Okay.
But you really feel for him in the very
Obsessed.
That's it.
Yeah.
You really feel for him in the beginning because, I mean, he was just the guy that liked magic, but
Yeah.
then he loses his wife to that trick, which always gets me every time I watch this. I'm like, man, that poor magician who they were just because, Borden and Angier were just assistants to this guy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right,
right.
right.
Yeah.
They were the stooges
plants,
in
yeah.
the plants. But the poor magician who killed the lady in a sense, even though he had
Yeah.
nothing to do with it, like his career ended, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
It's just,
done.
we never see him again
Yeah,
in the
Cutter
movie.
mentions that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I can't work with him, so
He's
gotta
not going to
a
get
new
anybody
person.
to go in a tank ever.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, it's done. So
Yeah.
never see that guy again.
Yeah.
But
Which he's a real magician. That's Ricky Jay.
that
just-
actor,
Yeah. He's
Oh,
just
wow.
kind of
Oh,
a
that's
cameo. Yeah. He was a very, very good card magician.
so he wouldn't be a guy that's like, let's put a person in a tank for
He
real.
probably wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah. So he's better than what his character was. But which again, you watch these movies, and I love these movies, and even my favorite movies of all time, I always like to kind of like pick on a little bit. And I have to pick on, even though Michael Caine looks cool standing to the side with his pocket watch and his axe in hand. He's like,
Yeah.
why not after the first swing did someone a little bit younger and stronger
True.
take the axe
True.
and be like, I got it.
Yeah.
Let me finish this up.
Yeah. Maybe the husband. Grab
Maybe the
axe and
husband.
jump in there.
Yeah. And probably would have took one less swing
Yeah.
and she would have survived.
Hmm.
But again, that wouldn't be the movie.
It's not the movie.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, stand aside, Michael Caine. I got this.
Well, Angier, he wanted him dead. I mean, with the bullet thing, where
He did.
Where,
Oh,
he put,
yeah.
where he put the thing in the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I feel like
Mm-hmm.
really started off the rivalry to the extent that it got.
Right.
That was the
Yeah.
first real like.
It's like
okay,
you are going
we're doing
to
this.
try to kill me.
Yeah.
And
Like, for real.
the sad thing is that looking back at the whole film, when you realize that they're twins and he's genuinely asking them, what knot did you do? And for the twin who didn't tie the knot, who probably wasn't even there that night, he's the sympathetic one, because he's like, I'll go to the funeral probably. I know you tell the other twin, I know you feel bad. You don't want to be seen. I'll go. He genuinely didn't have an answer. I don't know. And it wasn't like, him messing with him, but I feel like him not saying, if he would have just said, I tied this knot, probably, I don't know, probably would have calmed things down or something.
Yeah.
But the whole fact of him just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
really-
it's almost like he's being kind of flippant about it. I don't
Right.
know which
Yeah.
one I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you not know? And then that led him, because that was right before he was going to shoot him.
Yeah.
What was the knot? Borden?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah. Maybe if he had shown a little bit of remorse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things might have been different.
I did.
could've
I
talked it out.
tied that knot. She did say it was okay.
Yeah,
I
she
really
said
feel
it.
bad
She
about
said it was
it.
okay.
And then we wanted to have a movie.
Right.
Yeah,
We never
right.
moved. But
They would join forces and have a
Yeah.
Siegfried and Roy type show.
which they probably would have done an amazing job, because they were both very different.
Mhm.
Like, even when you get into the future and they're doing the exact same trick, you got Andrew, who is the showman, who is more exciting and can probably think of the bigger picture, and Borden, who is more technical,
Yeah.
who can make the trick, but kind of boring at the same
Yeah.
time. Which they probably could have did amazing things together, as a combined team, but I guess
Yeah.
that would have never been the thing.
That's a good point.
But
I forgot what made Angier's search for Tesla, like seek him out.
it was the whole, when they start getting into the diaries,
Yeah, it was the code.
it was the code.
to learn the diary,
But
which
how-
is funny because he seems to have just randomly written Tesla just to put him on this wild goose chase.
It all was a
but
wild
it
goose
ended up
chase.
working out.
Yeah, that was the whole point. Like,
Just get him to
Borden
the
wanted
US.
him out of the country.
Yeah.
Get him to the U.S., send him on a wild goose chase. Go see. I think even him, because he saw him at Tesla's like
Oh, that's right. He
like
saw him at that.
expo or something.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And he's like, what is this? And now he's like, diaries and whatnot. So it was a whole
Mm.
ruse to get him out, but
Mm.
But
then
it did work
worked.
out.
It did work out.
Pretty perfectly.
And then out of all the crazy casting, you get David Bowie as Tesla,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
which I don't know. I mean, I know he's acted before, but he did an amazing job.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Ziggy Stardust?
You know, I am. I am familiar with
Yeah.
Ziggy Stardust.
He
yeah.
was a singer,
That's right.
or it was a character
That's
that David
right,
Bowie
yeah.
played.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought it up and not me.
Yeah. Freaking Ziggy Stardust is Tesla over
Labyrinth.
here. Yeah, Labyrinth.
that?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
He was the Pharaoh in Michael Jackson's song.
Oh, was
Wait,
he?
what?
Yes.
What
Wow.
song? Well, like one of his music videos?
It was a music video.
Pharaoh.
I can't think of the song. History. I think the album was History, but
Huh.
yeah, he was a Pharaoh. His wife Iman was the. Anyways,
Huh.
yeah, Michael
I
Jackson.
didn't know that.
David Bowie.
But yeah, he did a fantastic job. Like almost. The funny thing, I knew going into the movie he was in the movie, but when he showed up, I didn't know it was him.
Yeah, you kind of forget that.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
Bowie.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that guy can act.
Like, that guy looks like David Bowie.
Yeah, right,
And
right.
then you just keep watching it.
And then
think
Right.
it's not.
he's,
and then,
he's
it
Tesla
is.
now.
Yeah.
right.
But that whole time in Colorado, that's when like you get the turn in the movie, right?
Yeah.
That like
Mhm.
you get from you're learning all the tricks, you see how they do it, and it's like the whole mechanics of things. You even know how well, you don't know, but then that's when it gets, I don't know, supernatural. That's not the right word.
Metaphysical.
Metaphysical.
I guess. Yeah.
And it was supposed to be like the whole trick that like just teleport me across the room, right? Can you teleport
Yeah,
something
Yeah, and that's what you think what's going
across
on.
the
yeah.
room?
Right.
And I love how when Tesla sees it and they do his experiment, like because they start off with that hat and the hat doesn't go anywhere, it's still there, and Tesla's just staring at it, doesn't say anything. Even his assistant says, "Hey, you need to get out."
Because it didn't work.
It didn't work, but I just love how focused and like you can just imagine why didn't this work, and Tesla's mind is just going.
He's probably
going
thinking,
crazy.
no, it works. It works. It's
It
like,
has to work. There's
where's
something
the hat? Where's the
right.
hat? How far away were the hats from the house? Far enough to where they couldn't see him, obviously.
Yeah, for
Right.
weeks, months.
That was a lot of hats.
Right, because it was Andrew that came out. He found the hats, and
Yeah.
he
Well,
went
the
back
only
in
reason
there
he
and be
found
the
like,
cat.
Yeah, the only reason
Oh,
he found
the
the hat.
cat,
Yeah,
that's right.
Because he heard the cat.
and you hear the cats just fighting each other.
Yeah.
Those are clones.
So the cats are fighting themselves.
Which leads me to the question: is if you guys get a clone, are you killing it?
No.
How could you not?
I could get along with my clone.
Are you serious? I don't think
I'm pretty non-confrontational. I think
I've
any
got
clone
a
would
pretty
be chill.
kill my clone policy in my life if
But-
I ever
okay.
see it.
Yeah, but it's one of those things you gotta plan it. You gotta think about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
when Angier's he killed it quick.
He killed it real quick.
real quick. But he thought about it. Like, what am I gonna do? Hey, maybe we can team up and do magic together, or no, that's not gonna work because it's me. And
Yeah.
and
Well, and he knows that the clone has the same thought.
It's the same thought. So if I have my policy, then my clone is definitely gonna have that policy. Right?
right, and the one making and the first one is the one that's got the gun, the one that pops out.
Yeah.
Boink, he's got nothing.
And I think from the beginning it would be bad. But maybe for you, it's like because you're not non-confrontational, both Gregs can maybe work it out.
Yeah.
Until
think
one
we
of
could.
you doesn't. Until one
of
of
us
you, because
thinks.
then at that point, you guys are starting to think separately.
Uh-huh.
Then I don't think you guys are thinking the same. In the beginning, you are.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're the same
But
person,
eventually-
but it's like a time thing where
Mm-hmm.
you start going in different directions and you
Yep.
start becoming a different person.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, my thought watching this was he could just use it once. He could just clone himself, and then he's using the same method as Christian Bale's character,
Mm-hmm.
and he could just do the same exact illusion. But he's got
Until-
to kill him every night instead.
Until one of them says, "Hey, I don't want to be the one that disappears. I want to be the one that gets the applause."
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
And by
wrong.
the way, I'm taking the house and the car.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
the
because
girl.
technically they're mine
Right.
because I'm you.
And the other one's like, "Well, no, they're mine."
And it's like, no, they're mine.
See, Greg, I don't know, man. You gotta.
So he's got all the same memories then. We can
Exactly.
assume as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the one thing I've never understood about this movie, or maybe I always question, maybe you guys have a better answer, is did you got Angier, let's just say he's the alpha, right? The first one.
Mhm.
He gets cloned. Is he then the one dying every night, or is the alpha, the first one, always alive and he's always doing the prestige at the end?
No, it's always a new one.
So he is. I used to think that maybe he would trick the clones into being killed, but it wasn't until the
No,
very
he
end of the
can't.
movie.
Yeah, no, because he drops as soon as he does the trick. So the very first time he does it, he
Yeah.
drops below stage and gets killed, and he's ta-da in the balcony,
Yeah.
which I always thought was like not crazy impressive because that's kind of far away.
It's very far away.
So you would just think in the
That's
audience,
very
Oh, he
impressive.
just had a. Well, I'm just saying, it's like he just had like a super tube that sucked him up and like shot him up.
But this
Falls
is
below stage and boink, he's up here. It's like
like the 1800s, man. No one's thinking of super tubes.
a super vacuum. I don't know.
They're barely thinking of like surviving Black Plague and stuff,
Yeah.
boiling their clothes
I
and
guess, yeah.
boiling
they
water.
just bought it right away. Yeah.
I think so.
Here's the thing. The first time he does it, when he shows it to the theater guy, the guy that like books him, and he appears behind him
Hmm.
in the audience, the guy says something to him like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were doing real magic. It's been
Did he
been some time since I've seen real magic."
Oh, he does say
What's
that,
that
doesn't he?
Yeah.
Did he go to Hogwarts or something? Why does he say
Yeah,
that?
why does he say
say
that?
Maybe it's because he's like, dude, I'm a promoter. I've seen it all. I know how it's done.
Yeah.
But you just did a trick that blew my mind.
That has to be real.
He can't figure it out.
Yeah, he's like,
Right.
that's just real. That's real
Yeah.
magic. Yeah.
Like, I know the bullet catch. I know the invisible, or the what is the trick? The transporting man,
Yeah, transported man.
transported
Yeah,
man.
Something like that.
I've seen know how it's,
New, better,
yeah.
improved transported man.
Yeah. I love how
The
like
Ultra.
I like how like when they're finally doing the same trick, and with Angier, he can't figure out how Borden's doing it, so he does. He gets the drunk guy. The guy is like
Yeah.
the guy looks at him, but I do like how like they're doing the same trick, and they're like just right across the street from each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
It's like a Bugs Bunny cartoon where it's like they're doing the same game. What isn't there
Yeah.
a Bugs Bunny cartoon where he's battling shows? I think there is
I don't
one.
know.
He's like battling Yosemite Sam in his show or something, and they're like keep duking it out.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, that's another rabbit hole there. Yeah, yeah, it's like a Bugs Bunny gag. Where
Yeah.
they're both like trying to one up each other.
One up each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the best one up is when he how did he pull it off? Yeah, that's right. He took away his Angier's mat. He stopped the other,
Cushion.
he stopped the other guy
Oh.
from going out, but he took his place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and he sort
Well-
of convinced the guy
Right.
that he should think differently about this.
It's
He's
like,
got
you
all
have
the
all the power.
Yeah.
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 Which is, you don't really see this in the movie, but you can almost like guess, like, because Borden did it first, right? And he knows how he did it. But when he sees Angier do it, I'm sure he was like, wait a minute, how is he doing this now?
Mhm.
He doesn't have a twin?
yeah, 'cause he
Right.
knows.
Yeah, so he had to find and probably found the drunk guy and had to like case him out a little bit,
Yeah,
Right.
and which is pretty funny. And then that final scene where, yeah, he doesn't come popping out, but it's the other magician comes popping out and be like, come see my show across the street. Which
Oh
is,
yeah, that's like the best.
yeah.
That would be fun as an audience member.
Yeah.
To be like, maybe you just saw Borden's
Exactly.
show.
Did he get the drunk
then you
guy to
see
be the
this
one
guy.
tied up in the?
Yes,
he did. Oh, okay,
he
yeah.
was the one drunked out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, can you imagine being a part of that audience and
Yeah.
having already seen that show, and then like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
I know that's a funny joke. Like, even though the trick didn't work, it's still like, that's worth my money.
Yeah.
Pay that, see that again.
Yeah, that was good.
But-
And to be like, hey guys, let's do the same gag again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they could have kept that going as like a marketing ploy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do it on your
Fake
stage
rivals.
one night, and then we'll do it on mine.
Yeah, right.
The other night.
and then do it with a new illusion,
Yeah.
which you would think
Yeah.
they would do from the start. You know, you see a guy doing an illusion that you think is like over the top, too crazy, and you're like, I'm gonna do the same thing.
You're right.
You should try to outdo it with a different trick.
Just better.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
that was the whole Angier's thing. Is it's like it's boring.
Mm.
Like he needs to make his. He can make his trick a lot more,
Sure.
exciting and which. So I guess here's a good question for you. The more and more, because I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I dabble in some magic.
Okay.
Oh,
You know what I
really?
mean?
Yeah.
But what I do know is because I'm the most amazing magician with my kids, next to you, of course, because they once saw you stick a needle through my neck and they were amazed. Like, how did Daddy not die from that?
Yeah.
But the one thing I do know is like the more and more you do the trick, they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So is there a lifespan that you give your tricks? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this for as many times, or know that eventually if I keep doing this, someone's gonna figure it out.
For me, I mean, it's very rare, I think, for people to see the same magician twice. Usually, pro magicians, we're doing corporate stuff, we're doing whatever.
Oh, okay.
Usually, people aren't normally coming to see a specific magician. But let's say, like David Blaine, pick on him
Mhm.
more. I do think if people went and saw him, let's say, I think he has a Vegas residency right now. In a couple of years, he probably has to switch out
Recycle
some
some
new
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, because he knows people are going to come back and see it. Typically, you don't want people to see it even twice.
Mm.
Because at that point, they're looking to see how it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the common joke is first time they see it is a trick, second time they see it is a lesson.
Oh,
now they know what
yeah,
they're
that's
looking
good.
for.
Exactly.
They know where it's going, so they can
Right.
kind of,
No, that's
did he
that's
put his
good.
hand in his pocket or something like
Yeah.
that. You kind of know what to look for if you know where the trick is going. Usually, you don't even know where the trick is going, so you
right
can't
catches
possibly
people.
know where to look.
Mm.
Right.
So, yeah.
My favorite tricks are the ones that like it looks like the person failed,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like, nope.
Nope.
Bam.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, that makes
Oh, it
sense.
was like when he was in the prison and he's doing a little ball trick.
Yeah.
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
Where
That's
he
an
drops
example.
the red
ball.
ball.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but then he
It's like, oh, you can't even catch the ball. You're an idiot.
then he's chained up the prison guard. Ah,
You're
yeah.
the idiot.
Which, from that, it seems like he could have gotten out of prison, potentially.
You think about it, yeah.
Mhm.
He's a magician. He knows locks and tricks and
But he didn't.
Yeah, he
Probably
could have,
was
huh?
Guards.
Maybe.
he could have had his brother come
Yeah.
do a little song and dance outside.
Yeah.
the-
I escaped.
Yeah.
and then get everybody all riled up and looking for him, and then he could have made his move and escaped.
So let's talk about kind of like the whole ending, because another cool thing about this movie is the whole going back and forth with the journals.
Yeah.
And how they were both playing each other at the same time. It's like, and then, yeah, I know you're reading this now.
Yeah.
And I've set you up. And it's like, well, now I know you're reading this and I've set you up.
Right.
You know that I know that you know that I know.
Right,
But
yeah.
you don't know that I know.
No.
Yeah.
But the whole idea, and I the movie starts with the whole with Christian Bale getting arrested for thinking he killed Hugh Jackman, or Borden, killing Angier. And you look back at it now, like you think like, oh, there's a bit of justice there, because the twin that does go to jail is the twin that tied the knot for his wife.
Mm.
So it makes sense, but
But kind of, it still wasn't justified. I mean, it was an accident.
He
I mean,
did-
it's
really,
true.
It was an
It
accident.
was an
He didn't kill
accident.
him, And he is still
Yeah.
alive, or some version of him is alive.
some version of him is alive.
Yeah.
But the one that didn't tie the knot,
Right.
and the one that almost had the most common sense, the one that loved his daughter, the one that loved his wife,
Yeah.
he was even the one that just said at the end, like, we cannot figure out Angier's trick. Don't go. It's over. We've
Yeah.
lost. We're just going to move on.
Just
Yeah.
take care of the daughter and let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other one couldn't. He was headstrong from the beginning when And Cutter said, don't do that knot. Don't do it.
Mm.
And he said, well, I'm not going to listen to you. Do what I want. Same thing. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to figure out this trick.
Here's another thing I thought of with watching this time around was there's so many times where Borden, one of the twins, the one that loves Sarah, I think her name is?
Yeah. The mom.
The mom.
Mom is
yeah.
Sarah. Yeah.
There's so many times where he's outside the room listening to his twin go out in a fight with Sarah. They're going at it.
Oh, but it's
He just
not
has
the
to
one that
listen to
loves
this.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just has to hear this.
That's rough.
If I were him, I'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, what are we doing? Why
Yeah.
are you talking to my wife like that?
Exactly.
You know?
You need to be more like me. Stop it.
Yeah,
Like,
because
we're not
doing
it
that,
seems
man.
like most of the fights stem from her being like, today you don't love me.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
would be the wrong
You love magic
twin.
more. You're right.
Yeah.
So the other guy's just sitting there listening. That's got to be tough.
Well, yeah, you say that there was a scene where he's like filling in Fallon about the day.
Mm.
And he said, oh, and Sarah says something, Sarah's on to something a little bit more. So can you help with that?
Yeah, yeah.
And
She wants to go to the zoo.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. And again, it's just the whole movie is about obsession, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you can just nail it down to one thing. Angier's obsession with, Borden's obsession with living the life of the trick. But I don't know. That's what makes a good magician, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Crazy.
All right. Well, this is definitely a movie you got to see. And again, we said that this is a great first time watch for anybody. And I'm a big fan of like watching movies with people. Actually, it's one of the joys of my life is watching movies with people who've never seen a movie
Yeah.
and watching their reaction. Like I love that. And this is definitely one of those. So this is definitely a movie you got to watch. But what's your final thoughts? Final thoughts and ranking of this movie?
Final thoughts. I like this movie a lot. I agree with you on it's really fun seeing a movie, loving it, and then showing it to somebody
Mhm.
else. And it's like you get to see it through them. Yeah, I give this movie a solid 8,
Okay.
which is basically, that probably means I'm going to watch it every few years,
Mhm.
It's something I can rewatch over and over
Yeah.
and still enjoy.
That's good. All right. What about you?
Great movie. If they just stayed in the world of the magic and the rivalry and stuff, still a great movie. But then they added the whole real magic, Tesla,
Yeah.
metaphysical duplicating. That was super cool, and that kind of put it over the top for me in the cool factor. Comes in at 8.5,
Okay.
which is still really good.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm gonna watch it again and do the Notebook journal watch, because that I still not following that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna pay attention. This watch, I'm gonna pay attention to the journal and what they're writing and what they're reading.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can put that in some sort of order that makes sense. But yeah, definitely. I don't know. This might be an annual watch,
Yeah.
or every couple of years. Yeah.
It's funny. Like I get into the modes where if I watch a director that I like's film, like I feel like I got to watch them all. So that's usually when I watch The Prestige, is when I'm, watching a lot of Christopher Nolan movies. It's not, it should be a movie that I watch every year, but it's not. But I love this movie, and every time I do watch it, it grabs me. So I'm not like, oh, I'm going to be looking at my phone. Even though I know how it ends, I know there's just so much to this film that it grabs me, it sucks me in, it holds my attention. So for me, it's like a 9.1. I really like this movie. But yeah, it's like we said, 2006. This thing's borderline becoming a classic. I don't know when does a movie become a classic? 25 years, like an antique.
It's almost like if it gets to a point where it's so old, then what were the classics? Like if you call it a classic, then
Well,
you
to
think
me,
like a Bogart movie is
yeah.
classic. I mean, you know,
But to me, like when I'm
Yeah.
when I'm in the 90s, right? When I'm in like junior high, high school, and I'm talking about movies like Jaws,
yeah,
Star Wars. So to me, it's like I'm in the 90s. I'm talking about a movie in the 70s. That's where we're at today with this thing,
yeah,
which is mind-boggling.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's great.
yeah, I don't know.
It just gets categorized in the classics
The classics.
on the classics shelf of
Yeah.
movies. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Greg, thank you for being our very first guest on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. You're like
You Will
number
Forever. We should have given him like a sash, or we should give him
the
something.
first guest.
I don't know, some sort of trophy, a key to the podcast. I don't know. We should have honored you,
It is-
and
it is-
and
it
it's
is.
kind of our fault,
Yeah.
because you will forever be the very first guest that we ever had.
Wow.
That can never be taken away.
Yeah.
What an honor.
Yeah, we might have J.J. Abrams on, probably.
You know, he'll feel like really good about it. Like, hey, I'm the. But you're not
But he
the
won't be
first.
the
But you're not the first. You might be the best, but he's not the first.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah, thank you
So
for
so
having
you
me.
being a professional magician, where can people find you? Where can people see some of your work that you do?
Yeah, I put up public shows all the time. You can find them on handcraftedmysteries.com. You can find me at Handcrafted Mysteries on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on all
Okay.
the things. I put up shows sometimes. I'm on cruise ships sometimes. I'm around.
He's around, and because not only is he a magician, but he's a big movie fan. He's on the Letterbox. I don't know if
I
you
am
want
on
to
Letterboxd.
share that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We follow each other.
We do follow
I
each
follow
other.
like 3 people. So
Oh,
it's
really?
like you and my brother, who I mentioned earlier,
Yeah,
and one other guy.
that's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, so big movie buff.
Yeah.
And you have a trick that actually has to do with movies, which is really fun. I got to participate in that trick.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
Thanks.
But yeah, so handcraftedmysteries.com.
Yes.
That's great because
check
if
it
I
out.
tried to look up Greg Van Holzbeck,
Yeah, you get
I-
stuck somewhere in the middle.
I get stuck and wouldn't be able to find you.
Yeah.
Handcrafted Mysteries.
Handcraftedmysteries.com.
.com.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in today. And if you've made it this far, please check out handcraftedmysteries.com, as well as like and subscribe. Again, it means the world to us. We are on our way to 200
Wow.
subscribers.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So
Getting close.
please help us out there. We were at 140 and we were excited to hit that, and
Yeah.
we did it.
A whole 200 would be just.
Yeah.
We'll
So
throw a
it
party.
means the world to us. We thank you. And so let us know. Please like, subscribe. Let us know. What do you think of The Prestige? Did you see the whole ending coming? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Yeah, let us know. So thank you and see you in the next one.